name is Belinda Doveston, and welcome to this very special episode. Now, around the world, a very exciting global campaign was launched today, the day this episode drops, on the 29th of October, 2021. Some of the top YouTube creators banded together to run a project called Team Seas, a project to clear our beautiful oceans and waterways of trash. And thinking that we're coming up to COP26 and climate is in front of all our thinking at this time, or should be, I wanted to participate. And what this campaign is all about is that YouTube creators around the world on the same day that we take over YouTube, okay? That we create content to promote this campaign that is taking place. It is so exciting, and I love being part of these big global campaigns where we all work together to achieve something really magnificent. So, what is it all about? I'm going to tell you about the Team Seas campaign, and then I have a special episode I have done for you where I cast the coins and ask the I-Ching, what do we need to focus on in relation to our climate crisis? Yes, it's a heavy topic. Yes, it's forefront in our minds. Yes, it's something we all need to tackle in amongst our daily lives where we're dealing with stuff. But this is important, and this is important to me. So please watch this episode. Please participate. It would mean the world for me for you to do that. Right, so what is Team Seas? Now, these big YouTube creators like Mark Rober and Mr. Beast and many others have previously done a campaign where they pledged to plant 20 million trees in a very short space of time, a couple of months, to raise the funds to plant those rather. And they did that. So this campaign, Team Seas, or hashtag Team Seas, is all about clearing 30 million pounds of trash out of our oceans by raising $30 million over a period of a couple of months. So today, 29th of October, this gets launched and it closes, I think, the end of December, 1st of January, 2022. So we have only a couple of months. And here's the challenge. For every dollar raised through teamseas.org, 1 pound of trash will get removed from our waterways. The projects that they have supported, the extensive research that they have done to put together the implementation of this idea is very sound and very powerful, and I encourage you to go and check it out below. The links will be below on teamseas.org. As a YouTube creator, I couldn't resist the opportunity to use this platform, to use the community that you are all part of, to connect and to call out to say, let's participate. So what do you have to do? If you go to the link below, teamseas.org, you will find the opportunity to donate. For every dollar, 1 pound of trash gets removed. Okay. If you could find it in you to just do $1, okay, just $1, that this little neck of the YouTube woods, this I-Ching Cafe channel, that maybe we can do something to make a difference, that we can take action and take responsibility for not only the trash that's in our own household, but also finding mechanisms through global action to make a difference. You've heard Greta Thunberg talk about that it is through mass action from individuals that change comes, not from politicians. And so I'm calling you to participate. I've done my donation. Come on, just $1. And if you can do more than $1, do more than $1. All right, so let's do it. And this whole issue of climate crisis is really close to my heart. I don't often talk about things and causes that are very big and meaningful to me personally on this channel. I like creating space for you to go through your process, but this is really, really important for me. I've been sitting over the last 2 years as we've gone through this pandemic thinking, okay, this is really big. People are dying. I've lost people close to me. You probably have as well, and you've seen the devastation that has happened on our earth. But if we could just take a few steps back and we could look at the bigger picture, perhaps there's a bigger, scarier monster around the corner, i.e. climate change, that we have not been paying enough attention to. You look at the news, go look at your news feed, 99.9% COVID, and how much really is the environment in that feed. So My challenge to you today is, despite the heaviness of this topic, is to bear with me for a moment as we talk a little bit about it, and then I've got a hexagram and a casting that I've done for you to talk about how we can focus and what we can do to really get our heads around how to work with this difficult time. So one of the things that I have been thinking a lot about in relation to our climate crisis is an article that I read in the BBC News, which was all about a massive research project undertaken with, I think, about 20,000 youth. And they interviewed the youth and said, based on climate change, do you feel like we have a future? Is there hope for humanity? Okay. And 50% of those interviewed, so that's a significant section of the sample, said we are doomed. Okay, there is no hope for us. And I know that creates a heaviness around this topic about our future and what is life going to be like. I mean, we're dealing with a whole pile of things. Now we've got this thing of like this imminent existential crisis that's being spoken about. What I feel really, really upset about is a huge majority of us, of youth, of people feeling like there is no future, that there is no hope. And I feel like maybe that, at this point in time, is the biggest crisis of all. That we lose hope in the world we want to build, the culture we want to create, the society we want to be a part of, and the world that we want our children's children to be born into. Because, of course, this is not just about us. This is about the future of our children's children's children. So, sorry for the downer topic in our special episode, but this is important and it's important to me. And so thank you for the opportunity to share that with you. So what did I ask the I-Ching? I asked the I-Ching, what should we focus on related to this climate crisis? I didn't put a timestamp on it. I didn't ring fence it around a very, very specific question. I kept it open. Okay, so the more focused you can be on a question around times and parameters and boundaries, okay, the more specific the question becomes in how we can work with the interpretation. So I've left it really broad and really open. So let's have a look at what the I-Ching shared with me that I can share with you. Our first hexagram related to this question of what should we focus on related to this climate crisis is the hexagram 36, darkening of the light. And I did feel this kind of heaviness settle on me when I saw this hexagram, because I suppose a part of me was thinking that maybe there's some joyous expression of happiness that I can bring to a topic that is quite heavy and quite challenging. But here we have a hexagram that's quite challenging. And the topic is not rainbow unicorn poop, okay? It's not that, it's the other kind. So darkening of the light, hexagram 36, is all about how the light is sunk into the earth and how dangerous negative forces coalesce on the external, on the outside, negativity, challenges, difficulties that we must get through and we must work through. And the way that we work through it is we protect our light, and we take that light internally and we protect it, we cover it as we work through the challenges that we are part of. So what I'm going to share with you is some of my interpretations, as I always do, of what these lines and these hexagrams mean in light of our question. And I would encourage that if you are interested in learning the I-Ching, that you take out your book, your favorite I-Ching book, and you go and have a look at these hexagrams and these changing lines, and you come to your own conclusions. It's my interpretation. My interpretation can be wrong. If my pipes are rusty, then we're going to have a rusty flow, right? So work with it. Go and get your book out and have a look at what these lines are saying. Okay, so hexagram 36, darkening of the light. What I feel, my interpretation of what this means, that there is a huge amount of negativity around us related to this issue. It's a challenge. It's heavy, it's difficult, it's uncertain, and we have to find a way of dealing with the oppression of the challenge that is coming across us. There's the doomsday information, there's the frustration with politicians, there's the apathy that you might see around you that drives you crazy, or perhaps it's your own apathy that's eating away at you like a ferret eating at your brain, okay? Whatever it is, we are all facing a huge amount of challenge in our external world. The difficulty is on the outside. The light is on the inside. And what we have to do is we have to protect that light. When I got this hexagram, I thought back to that research I mentioned of the sense of hopelessness and doomedness in the youth interviewed. And I thought this really speaks directly to this idea of darkening of the light, this concept of protect your light. That in all this process we're going through, one of the things that you need to focus on is to protect the brightness of your light. Okay, is to not let this experience, the environment, literally the environment, the issues, the doomsdayness to squash your light out. And that's what really worried me about this research, about the impact on our generations to come of an entire generation and of many more generations around that feeling a sense of hopelessness, where that light feels snuffed. What's there to live for? What's the point? What's the purpose if we don't have a future? And so that for me, with this light, this darkening of the light, how we should protect our light, that is really the important thing. Now, this hexagram doesn't say cut yourself off from other people. This is about how you protect your light against negativity. And so I would suggest that you find ways of building and reinforcing your consciousness, your light, your inner fire, your flame, and let that, the work that you do to build and focus and develop your flame, be the thing that helps you get through this. Now, we are 3 changing lines, line 2, 3, and 4 for this question. So lots of change. And so what we're going to find is we're going to find some insight around what this darkening the light is helping us to understand, what we should focus on. It was really interesting when I looked at these 3 changing lines in particular, they formed a bit of a pattern. So I'm going to unpack that for you. Position line 2, this changing line says we should focus on, related to this question, that we need to release our spirit. Okay, we need to release that light of spirit to help us activate our creative imagination to find new ways through the challenges we face related to the climate crisis. It even talks in this line that the issue is difficult but not deadly. Okay, so difficult, not deadly. We have to bring our spirit, unleash our spirit to tap into our creative imagination as a way of solving this problem. In the 3rd position, that line talks about we find ways of seeing to the central illusion on the issue. So in line 3, we are asked to recognize that we need to see and find the real cut through to the central core of the illusion that is blocking our view of reality. So part of this darkening the light is we're not seeing something clearly. We're seeing something through the filter of the illusion. And with this whole process comes fears and anxieties and stresses and all kinds of emotional turmoil. And what we have to do is we have to release the illusion so that we can release all the emotions tied to it. And then the next changing line in the 4th position says, get to the heart of the problem. And by getting to the heart of the problem, we can unleash our locked away intelligence that is not coming to the situation. So when I look at these 3 changing lines, the first one is about unleashing the spirit. The next one is about getting past the illusion that's keeping all these negative emotions in play. And the 3rd is about freeing up our intelligence. And so it's like our spirit, our heart, and our mind are 3 areas that we need to focus on when we think about protecting and building our inner light. Now, we may not be able to have a huge amount of influence over the external of the situation and this crisis. There is a lot we can do, and we could talk for a long time about the power of prayer and imagination and affirmation and meditation and all that. There is a lot we can do. But what we can do, the thing that we have control over, is our internal light. Our spirit, our heart, and our mind. And I feel like that's what this I-Ching message is really asking us to pay attention to, is working on those 3 things in relation to this issue of the climate crisis. Getting to the heart of the issue, cutting through our own illusions, freeing up our spirit, bringing our creative imagination to it. And that is what we're being asked to pay attention to. And the nuclear of Hexagram 36 is deliverance. There's a process of being delivered out of negativity into a new world. There's opportunity for us to fundamentally change life on earth. But it does take courage and creative imagination and a vision, and those are the things that we're being asked to pay attention to. Getting our internal light burning brightly. Now, our outcome hexagram for this question, this broad open question, is hexagram 54, marrying maiden. And this is all about, surprise, surprise, huge big cycles that are beyond our control. Okay, accepting and trusting that there are processes working out here that are moving things in the right place that we can't see, and trusting the process. And while those processes are unfolding and doing what they need to do, is to conduct ourselves in the right way. Okay, be focused on the light, being focused on needing to be who we are, on releasing our creativity, our intelligence, and our heart. Okay, is to be conductful, is conducting ourselves in the highest and the best way, and accepting with hexagram 54 that we may be led into positions of power below what we are used to. We might be led into things that take us out of a few rungs and take us a few rungs down. So I think part of this process, part of this learning and this journey, is being open to accepting that life changes. Cycles come to take us in new directions. That what we are going to experience through this process is feeling like life is changing and we are now not in a position that we were accustomed to. Okay, we've gone down a few notches, and certainly big changes will be called upon us to change our world and change the way we live. So, big cycles of change, we have to trust the process, and we have to trust that in stepping back a few notches of power, of being disempowered, what we're actually doing is we are getting back into position of power, a new form of power. And let's hope some new forms of power too, so we can reduce our carbon. Right, so heavy topic. I hope that has helped you. I really feel like we all have to take responsibility for the way we think and the way we live in the world. You have to live with yourself, okay? So you have to make choices that keep you in principle, and the thing that you are in control of in the midst of all these out of control issues is who you are, what you're doing, and how you are living your life. So the spirit, the heart, the mind, unleash their highest potential and work on developing them while we go through this challenge together. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this special episode, and I look forward to hearing from you that, yay, we have made our donation to teamseas.org. Thank you so much for your support in advance.